Jan and I am here with part 2 of my August book haul. The first book that I have is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. Don't get me wrong, this book is probably going to be very valuable to me. Yay! The next book that I have to show you is a bit of a strange surprise. So unless you really do live in a hole, you will know that BookTube has been taken over by Robin Hobb. What you might not know is that all of the Robin Hobb books are being reissued with newer, shinier covers. This is of course prompted by the fact that she has brought out a new trilogy set in her most famous world. Dying to read it. And so because of this, I have been replacing my 90s paperbacks with the more recent editions. This, I hasten to add, is not because I do not love my 90s paperbacks, and I will not be getting rid of them. They will just be relocated to a new shelf. 90s paperbacks look like this and they have illustrations by John Howe, and I'm very fond of them. But they are tiny, and the words are tiny, and the new versions are not, whilst also being impossibly beautiful. So I already have the new covers of the Farseer trilogy, and I had pre-ordered the new covers of the Live Ship Traders, which still had 22 odd days to go, and then this arrived. For those of you who don't know, this is book 3 of the Live Ship Traders. I do not know why book 3 was published on its own in advance of books 1 and book 2, but who cares, because it's beautiful. The next book that I have is a bit of a random one and is the fault entirely of Audible. I was browsing Audible and this book popped up and I listened to the sample and fell in love. This is Bridget Christie's feminist memoir, A Book for Her. Asterisks, and for him, if he can read. So Bridget Christie is a stand-up comedian who I was only kind of vaguely aware of. And basically one day she was standing in a bookshop and a gentleman, who was not a gentleman, behind her farted. Loudly, unapologetically, and exceedingly grossly, and it prompted her to write this book. When I went to pick this up in my local Waterstones, one of my favourite booksellers was like, yeah, we saw somebody click and collect that. Looked kind of aggressive. And I was like, yep. I am really excited to dig into this. Next on my list is The Driver's Seat by Muriel Spark. It's a long time since I read The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, and I have continuously thought I need to pick up more Muriel Spark. But she has a tremendously long backlist, and I had no idea where to start. And then I was watching BookTube, and I can't remember where it started, but quite a few people have recently started to pick this one up, and so I thought that must be a good place to start, I'll buy that. The Driver's Seat is about Lise, who has been driven slightly mental by working the same job for 16 years, can understand that, and so she decides to completely transform herself into a totally different person and fly abroad for the holiday of a lifetime. But unfortunately, adventure and sex turn out not to be the safest of pastimes. Who knew? Also a victim of mob mentality, I have The Enchanted April by Elizabeth von Arnim. This book has followed me around for the past month. Every website I look on, every bookstore I walk into, there it is. And so I finally broke down and read the synopsis and picked it up. I read an extract of Fräulein Schmidt and Mr. Anstruther quite a few years ago as part of a literature course. And again, as with the wonderful Muriel Spark, she landed somewhere on my list to pick up in the future. So I'm quite pleased that this book stalked me all in all. This book is about a group of 4 people who answer an advert in the Times addressed to those who appreciate wisteria and sunshine. The advert is for a small Italian getaway, fully furnished and to let for the month of April. And as 4 very different people embark on a journey for wisteria and sunshine, their pasts and their presents intertwine, and nothing will be the same again. Also, this cover is absolutely stunning. Speaking of books published in the 1920s, I have picked up these 2 crackers. You're all aware by now that I am absolutely obsessed with Agatha Christie. Yada yada, favourite author ever, blah blah blah. And you're all also more than well aware that I am collecting all of the signature editions of Agatha Christie, because they're compact and stunningly made and matchy and just awesome. On the other hand, the signature editions of the Tommy and Tuppence books are foul. It's like whoever has created them has put absolutely no thought into them whatsoever. And the Tommy and Tuppence series has recently been made into a BBC miniseries featuring David Walliams and Jessica Raine. The Tommy and Tuppence books are a series of 5 books about some very unlikely spies. Essentially, the 2 of them are young people who are completely broke and decide to create an adventurers agency, willing to go anywhere and do anything. And they get very caught caught up in war and political intrigue. So the first book is Secret Adversary, and the third book is N or M. So as you'll probably notice, the costumes are not very 20s, and that's because this adaptation is actually set in the 1950s. The first 3 episodes are from the Secret Adversary, and the second 3 episodes are N or M. Next, I have Shaking Hands with Death, a speech by Terry Pratchett. This was an essay which was broadcast as a speech for the BBC Richard Dimbleby lecture in 2010. It's just Pratchett's words on a page, which I think is the best way to experience Terry Pratchett. The next book that I have was a pre-order, and it is As Chimney Sweepers Come to Dust, which is the 7th Flaviolus Mystery. So because this is the 7th book in the series, I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I'm just going to say, hee hee, there's a skeleton in a fireplace. And the final book in this really, really long book haul is The Boy Most Likely To by Huntley Fitzpatrick. Yes, this is a rare YA book. One of the things that I think is an absolute strength of the YA genre is its ability to portray family in all of its permutations. And My Life Next Door features a girl who is part of a single parent family whose mother is very political and very absent from her life, watching the huge rabble of a family next door. They have maybe 7 kids, and her mother is constantly judging them for the fact that they are unable to clothe them, educate them, feed them properly. But that's not what the girl sees when she spies on them from her window. And eventually their worlds collide, and she gets a snapshot of the family next door and what life could be like. And this, quite simply, is the follow-up. And I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to say, if you like YA, go and pick up My Life Next Door, because it's pretty freaking good. So that was my huge, diverse August book haul. On that cheery note, by the time that you're watching this video, I will be in Rome and burnt to a crisp. Think about me. Bye!